What's up, Planeswalkers? It's your boy K-Dog. Got another fun video for you guys. This one's got a Sultai list that's built around a couple different cards here. The first one is Mnemonic Betrayal. It's a sorcery for 1 blue black. It says we exile all cards from all opponents' graveyards, and we may cast those cards this turn and spend mana as though we're mana of any type to cast those spells. So basically, it doesn't matter what cards our opponent is running, what colors they are. We can use whatever mana we have to cast those spells, is what that says. And then anything we don't cast just goes back into their graveyard, basically. And it's got this built-in protection where we exile Mnemonic Betrayal, so we can't just put it in our graveyard and then get it back and just keep doing it again. But basically, we're just trying to mill our opponent and then cast their entire graveyard for 3 mana. So we're running 3 of these. We want to make sure we see these at least once, maybe even twice a game sometimes. And the way we're trying to abuse that is Nyxbloom Ancient. For 4 and triple green, we get a 5/5 elemental with trample. And if you tap a permanent for mana, it produces 3 times as much of that mana instead. So if you can mill your opponent's, half your opponent's deck, play Mnemonic Betrayal with 1 or 2 Nyxbloom Ancients down, you can pretty much cast just about everything. And I've actually done this a couple times. It's pretty crazy. And so the way we're going to get there is we're going to start with 4 Merfolk Secretkeepers. 1 blue, we get a target player puts the top 4 cards of the library into their graveyard. Obviously, we're going to choose our opponent. And then for 1 blue, we get a 0/4, just a nice little blocker since we are trying to go into the late game with this deck. Same thing here with Wall of Lost Thoughts. For 1 and a blue, we get a 0/4 defender, and when it enters the battlefield, target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into their graveyard. So it's basically the same thing as the Secret Keeper, only you're playing it for 2, and you're getting both the sorcery and the creature side at the same time. And then moving on here to the Paradise Druid, since we are trying to ramp up as well, and we're in 3 colors, so having a Paradise Druid that can tap for 1 mana of any color is super important, as we do have, some pretty intense mana cost for some of these, as you'll see. We're running some Tyrant Scorn here, 3 of. Some removal and disruption, as we can choose to either destroy a creature with converted mana cost 3 or less, or return a creature to its owner's hand. So anything that's 4 or above that's giving us a problem, we can just bounce back to their hand and always slow them down a little bit. And another way we can do that is with Brazen Borrower. As the petty theft side, for 1 and blue at instant speed, we can return target non-land permanent and opponent controls to its owner's hand. And then we get a 3/1 flyer that we can play at instant speed for 1 blue and blue. So kind of an alternate win con, if you will, as a 3/1 flyer. You can kind of chip in for damage if necessary. And mostly, though, we're just trying to slow down and kind of disrupt our opponent as much as possible so we get to the late game and do our crazy combo. A couple didn't say please for 1 blue blue. You get to counter a target spell, and its controller puts the top 3 cards of their library into their graveyard. So just another way to kind of fill up our opponent's graveyard and also kind of disrupt whatever they're trying to do. Euro works perfectly in this deck, as when it enters we gain 3 life and draw a card, and then we get to kind of ramp up if we have another land to put onto the battlefield. And then we can escape it in the late game, so that can be useful in certain matchups since we are going to be running into the late game with this deck. Just a 1 of Jace, as 1 and triple blue, so one of those intense mana costs. It's a 4 loyalty planeswalker. It does have kind of a self-mill win con, but that's not really what we're worried about. For +1, we just want to put the top 2 cards of a target player's library into the graveyard, and then we get to draw a card. So that's exactly what we're trying to do. Just draw a card and keep milling our opponent. And another way we can do that is enter the God Eternals for 2 blue, blue, and black. Sorcery speed, we get to deal 4 damage to your target creature, and we gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. So sometimes that doesn't always work if we're not able to deal damage or something like that, but generally speaking, it's a nice removal spell. And then either way, the target player puts the top 4 cards of their library into the graveyard, and we get to amass 4. So we basically get a 4/4 zombie token out of it. And then Into the Story works really, really well since we're milling our opponent, as the spell costs 3 less to cast if an opponent has 7 or more cards in their graveyard. And at instant speed, we get to draw 4 cards. So 3 less, that means this will only be 2 and 2 blue most of the time to get 4 cards at instant speed. So that's a really powerful card draw spell. And that's, yeah, and the Nyxbloom Ancient, that's pretty much the deck. So going to the mana base real quick. 4 Island, 1 Swamp, 4 Forest, a couple Temple of Deceit, 4 Watery Graves, 4 Overgrown Tombs, 4 Breeding Pools, and 2 Temple of Mysteries. Going to the sideboard real quick. We do need some help in the aggressive matchups and against flyers, so a couple Chainweb Aracnirs. It's a really nice 1/2 for 1 with reach. When it enters, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature with flying and opponent control. So it can pick off Healer's Hawk, Spectral Sailors, things like that. And then we can escape it for 5 mana, and it comes back with 3 +1/+1 counters on it, and still has the same enter the battlefield trigger. 3 Aether Gust to kind of help slow down the red and green, powerful red and green spells, as we choose that spell and its owner puts it on the top or bottom of their library. So this can be to a permanent that's already in play or a spell that's still on the stack. So this works really well in certain matchups. A couple Frogifys. This is a really nice removal spell since we are mostly kind of blue base, blue and green. As Frogify can enchant a creature, and that creature becomes a 1/1 that loses all other abilities. A couple Agonizing Remorse against those kind of mid-rangey control matchups, where target opponent reveals their hand, we choose an online card from it, from their hand or their graveyard actually, and we get to exile that card, and we do lose 1 life. A couple more Didn't Say Please when we need the counter spells against those mid-range control matchups. A couple of Thrashing Brontodons as a way to kind of deal with aggressive decks and some artifact and enchantment hate. And if we need some exile removal, we got a couple 2 Extinctions, so we can exile target creature or planeswalker. And it basically has Surveil on it, as we can look at the top card of our library and choose to put that into our graveyard or just leave it on top. Alright, so this pretty crazy deck when it works. We do have some nice spells to kind of slow our opponent down and actually get there. Yeah, let's see how we do today. I know I've had some fun playing around with it. Also, anytime you're in 3 colors, things can get a little crazy, but yeah, let's see how we do. Up against Sinity Guy. Alright, well, 1 Forest is not a keeper. A couple Breeding Pools, it's something. Well, we do want this into the story, but we're not going to be able to do anything with it for a while, so I think we'll put that back. We'll just have 2 Breeding Pools to kind of start. So we get to go first, so we don't know what our opponent is doing, but Leyline of the Void, okay. Main deck, Leyline of the Void, sure. Disentomb and Leafkin Druid. Okay, so looks like they're just on Golgari. So Euro won't be doing too much. Okay, what was that? 4 colors? Let's get this guy down just because. Yeah, it's Temple, and try to find. I do want a black source, but it seems like they're not really too aggressive. So I think we can. I don't think we need to prioritize a black source just yet. I think just lands at this point. Alright, so we will lose our Euro to this Leyline, but we don't really have anything else going on. We could hold up Didn't Say Please, but I'm not sure I'm too worried about anything that might cast next turn. Okay, we did get our black source. Okay, and we lose our Euro, that's fine. I always wonder what's going on with the matchmaking algorithm when it just kind of pits you against certain decks. So they got a 1/1 flyer that can proliferate when it deals damage. Haven't seen anything that has counters on it that would need to be proliferated. Snare Spinner. Okay, pretty random. And you could kill it just so it doesn't do anything later, I guess. Imagine they're running something that has counters, maybe some planeswalkers or something. Just keep going with the mill plan. Athreos and Acolyte So their deck is kind of all over the place. So I didn't say please open, so we're doing okay. Karn. I could have countered that, but doesn't seem too threatening at this point.
My allies are counting on me.
So even if they didn't have the leyline, we'd still be a long ways from exile. Okay, so they're gonna have mana geode. Two cards in hand. Could get a get rid of the spider and get a 4/4 just to kind of pressure our opponent a little bit. The deck is not really making a whole lot of sense to me. As long as it's fun for them, that's all that matters. Okay, we get the scry off the mana geode. We're going to use Karn to get something else.
Some
the mana geode into a
must
3/3.
be built.
Let's get our scry. Hopefully we can stop drawing lands. Maybe into the story. That seems perfect. And we'll attack Karn for 4 if they want to jump block. Let's attack with our Secret Keepers. Stack there, and they can block with the Geode and lose it, or they can use Karn. It's fine either way for us. Down goes the Geode. We still have our didn't say please open, and we know we're going to draw into the story, so we're not in terrible shape here. We got quite a few crashing drawbridge. I think we'll counter that just because they do catch us with our guard down with some big haste, big creature. They don't really give it haste a little bit later on. And then we can enter the story and then still have mana open to depending on what we draw into. I think we'll do that main phase. Okay, so draw some lands or something else. Okay, we did find some lands. Let's start with attacking Karn. And get that option off the table. Okay, just keep going with the Secret Keepers. Ash. Yeah, our opponent's deck is all over the place, sure. Okay, so we do have our Nyxbloom Ancients. I'm just looking for Mnemonic Betrayal. And we've having some fun times. Nice 5/5. Get our Ancient down. Into the story. See what we draw into. Wow. That's right. So we do have our Mnemonic Betrayal. We have 1,000,000 mana, healthy life total. So yeah, as long as they don't have any counter spells or removal. Of course they had to go and ruin it, didn't they? Okay, the Sphinx of the Guild Pact already has hexproof, but sure. I think we just want to keep setting up for next turn, maybe Mnemonic Betrayal. Golden egg. Okay. So draw a card. So you're playing a bunch of defensive creatures, and then you're kind of an artifact deck. I'm not sure I understand the point of this player's deck. So getting the 5 powered beats in the air. Didn't say please. could destroy the spider just to start getting in for 4. Maybe it's worth it. The attack with the druid too, get in for 6. I would like to save this betrayal if we can find another Nyxbloom Ancient. We also have 2 more in the deck. Just gonna gain some life with the egg. No attacks, okay. Deck's kind of all over the place. I'm not really sure what they could have, but let's go ahead and Mnemonic Betrayal. Uh-oh. Now they have a counterspell. Okay. Well, Ashiok's pretty good, so we can start there. Don't like how Arena moves around the cards like that. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 mana left.
Here, deep below, lies
5 actually
succulent
with the druid.
horrors.
5. Wow, what do we want? I guess we can Mana Geode and Golden Egg. Not really too worried about this Leyline of the Void. Wow, return to nature on their own Mana Geode just so we don't get to do the 2 mana thing or 3 mana thing. Actually, we still have. I keep losing track of that. Oh, yeah, Golden Egg. It's pretty reasonable. I guess we'll just make a 2/3.
Creeping, thieving
If they want to attack Ashiok, Ashiok will still be alive. One more turn. Deck's truly all over the place. Well, attack Ashiok. Ashiok will not be able to minus.
pacify
There's another betrayal. What are we even doing with Athreus if we get that? And we're never going to have... you know, put the counter on the Ceratops and then get that back. Okay, so I don't really know how do we want to sideboard against the pile of cards? There were a lot of planeswalkers. Okay. Our opponent decides they're no longer having fun. Let's try to jump into one more. Obviously, you can kind of see what the Mnemonic Betrayal is capable of. You're close to having our Nyxbloom Ancient down as well, but of course our opponent had the removal. But yeah, it's a lot of fun when you do have that down and you can just basically cast everything in their graveyard. So let's see if we can showcase that against somebody else who's playing a little more focused deck. Obviously it works much better in those matchups because their cards actually go well together. I don't even know what to take in that matchup. Alright, here we are up against 20% more struggle. Alright, hand seems perfect. Just Temple of Mystery. We do need lands, but probably more blue. Well, I think we'll keep the Overgrown Tomb just for the green mana. So we can venture deeper and Temple of Deceit. Alright, see what our opponent's up to. Showing off Orzhov, Esper, Flyers. Alright. Alright, just keep the lands. We could shock in, just hold up, didn't say please, that might be worth it. Yeah, just playing the life gain. The dual lands, gaining some life. Works for me. So I imagine they'll have something to play next turn. Let's see, we have double blue, yeah. Just get our forest down and take it. Hold up the didn't say please. Passionate Orator. It's not the best thing to counter, but I think it's fine. Okay, so they're showing us a Flyer, Orator, and Pridemate. Not really a big fan of Pridemate, it's kind of annoying. Here's Hawk. Secretkeeper plan. For Watery Grave, just so we have the option to enter the God Eternals next turn. Actually, we do have double blue down already, so it didn't really matter. Depending on what they play, we could enter the God Eternals. Nope. Let's just wait until they give us a better target. Not really worried about this Healer's Hawk just yet. And now we're just looking for some card draw and our Mnemonic Betrayal. Take our beats for a couple turns from the Healer's Hawk. Well, there's our Mnemonic Betrayal. It's one of our opponents holding up a counter spell. Or maybe a flash creature. They do have a Bindborn in their graveyard. Let's just wait. Use a Pridemate. So we'll give ourselves a nice Enter the God Eternals target. Just hope they don't have a negate. That will be a 4/4. Could also just be like a combat trick. Let's shock that in so we have the option to Tyrant Scorn in response to something. Definitely feels like they're holding up an instant of some kind. Oh, perfect. They're running main deck negates. And we still have the Tyrant Scorn at the ready to play at instant speed. Gain some life back. So yeah, we're in good shape. For, into the story about now would be perfect. They're going to get to draw a card. We might just Tyrant Scorn that at end of turn. I might want to just get rid of the Healer's Hawk since they're on the life gain plan. I'd rather have them counter these than our Mnemonic Betrayals. Alright, now let's get in with our 4/4. I have a bounce spell. Maybe they're running Brazen Borrower in their Esper deck. I'm holding up something. Let's get our Nyxbloom Ancient down. Hopefully that resolves. Please. Like to mill a little bit more. Let's see. Well, they do have a decent number of cards in their graveyard now. Land off the top would probably be our best bet, although with all this open mana and blue mana, I'm not sure we're ready to do that. So let's start with this first. See if we can find some... See if we can get them to commit to something here. Wow, their deck is all over the place. Do you want to lose this mana or do you want to play something now? I think we're okay with just passing and going to combat. So we hit them for 9, unless they have some kind of a bounce spell. I'd like to save this Mnemonic Betrayal for when the coast is clear. We don't have to worry about a counter spell. We've seen at least one negate in their graveyard. Have all these cards in hand, they're not playing it, so they've got to have something. Imagine they have another negate they're trying to hold up. No reason to bounce it back to their hand, just let them draw another card. They're still not playing anything. Let's keep running these mill cards down. Just wait for our opening. Oh, we'll just beat them down with our 5/5s and 4/4s. Down to 4. Here we go. Opponent needs to do something. You have a handful of cards and you got all the mana. I'm not really sure what you're waiting for. Okay, gaining some life. Gotta play something. No attacks. Well, they can't replay the Cloud Kings here, so let's just see if this gets a counter spell out of them. Okay, not sure what they had there. Unless they just drew all lands or something. Maybe they're running a bunch of pump spells, trying to boost their creatures. Little combat tricks. Alright, so another deck that's kind of all over the place. Esper, what do we want against Esper? The Arachnators seem pretty decent. I'll just shave a couple. We didn't see any Banishing Lights or enchantment removal. Brazen Borrower seems okay. We'll shave one for another counter spell. Although these Agonizing Remorses are tempting them. We'll bring that in and shave off the 3/1 since they seem kind of mediocre. They can bounce like a Platinate or something, but we do have the Tyrant Scorn for that as well. Alright. Question is, do we want to Paradise Druid or do we want to Agonizing Remorse? Lead with Temple either way. Sure, we'll take lands. Don't have any mill spells yet, but I'm sure to draw onto them. Okay. Let's Agonize Remorse and see what they have. Yeah, scared of the Pride. That's the most annoying thing. So they can Cloud Conceal and draw a card, that's fine. gain a life off the Orator, and we'll have a 2-powered flyer to attack in, but we're okay. I'd like to see our wall block thoughts or Merfolk Secretkeeper that can kind of keep these guys at bay. Okay, so we know they have 2 lands and they have 2 other spells. Let's get our Druid down. Unfortunately, these Mnemonic Betrayals aren't doing us a whole lot of good in our hand just yet. That's why we're not running 4 of. I just want to try to keep it to 3 so I don't see them more often than we need to. Okay, going off with your Orator from Stray. That's kind of brutal. These draws have been unfortunate, so we might actually just lose this one because they have developing a reasonable board state. If they want to attack in, they might just have to trade with the Druid just to slow them down. We do get another one. Okay, 2 lands and 2 other unknown spells in hand, or cards I should say. So they could be lands as well. Okay, they choose the land that we don't know about. And no counter, perfect. So gain some life back, then get to the fire. We get a nice blocker for this Orator, so they can't attack in. That was exactly what we needed. Some Paradise Druid, we still have our Didn't Say Please open. And sweet, we are at Into the Story territory. It's down to 4. That's exactly what we want to see. Okay, still 2 lands to know about. Now they find out they want. Still don't have good attacks, but they do have. We did see some combat tricks that we milled from them earlier. Paradise Druid is fine. Okay with attacking with the 4/4 here. Want to start chipping away at them a little bit. Try to get some value out of it. It's a mass token. And no reason for them to block at 25. So we'll take 4, go down to 21, they're still in good shape. And we have our Wall of Lost Thoughts that can jump block, and if we take 2, it's not really that big of a deal just yet, either way. Let's just attack in with our 4/4 again. We'll just hold open Didn't Say Please, or Into the Story. All 3 Mnemonic Betrayals. So once we get a Nyxbloom Ancient and some more lands, we'll be in good shape. Looks like our opponents may be flooding out. Saying nice. They're a little tilted maybe. That's unfortunate. Let's draw some cards. Nyxbloom Ancient, but then we'll be still over hand side. We'll have to discard something. So let's just Paradise Druid plus Spider. Still have a Didn't Say Please or Into the Story open at end, Into the Story at end step, or Didn't Say Please if they do find something relevant here. They seem pretty tilted by their draws, so let's save the Agonizing Remorse. It's probably not anything too relevant. I mean, have a million mana. Yeah, you can kill my Spider, that's fine. This goes to the graveyard where I can escape it, so thank you. exactly 4 other cards to. I'm not too worried about this flyer. I'd rather just into the story, dig a little deeper, get some more lands. There's all the lands. Spider down. Pick off their flyer. Guess we'll should drop a Watery Grave off. We have 2 lands. I mean, don't need to hold up 3 since we can only play 1 a turn. I'm guessing our opponent is close to conceding, but we're going to try to go off here. Let's mill them first. Give us more options to get back. Sure. Resolve right away, so no counter spells. Alright. Start with the Orator, so we'll gain life for every creature that we play. Where's the Pridemate at? Oh, do we exile the Pridemates? Alright. Well, we can Charm Stray. Alright. And we still have 1,000,000 mana to just pretty much play everything we want. Alright, glad you guys got to see what the deck is capable of. It's a lot of fun once you get set up. And yeah, you guys give it a try, and thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.